Give them a chance to earn your business. If your repairs are due to storm, fire, or flood damage, you need to call Crosscom. They're licensed public adjusters. They work for you, not the insurance company. Crosscom will work to get you the money you deserve, the maximum payout. They know the insurance companies and how to deal with them. They win for you. Call Crosscom. Crosscom Construction and Public Adjusters.
This is Dan Lights with Crosscom. You can trust us with your home or business for high-quality work and fair prices. It's the only way we do business.
630-871-5500. CrosscomPublicAdjusters.com.
AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, everybody, we're all going to get late.
You can always tell squirrel's back, huh? So this is, I'm dying to talk to the gun guy. And it's fascinating as we talk about how societies are collapsing in Democrat areas and how used to it you get. I saw this news story while I was getting ready for the show. Salerno's was broken into twice. Twice.
Police are investigating after burglars broke into a Westtown restaurant twice in 1 week. The owner of Salerno's on Tap shared surveillance video of both break-ins. The first happened Wednesday morning. You can see 3 burglars smash.
Now, see, years ago, if it wasn't a restaurant, you get 2 junkyard dogs and you starve them for a couple of days, and you hope somebody breaks in. We're going to have our friend come on to talk about guns, and you could sit in your restaurant yourself, but don't stick around, because if you're not part of the El Rukns, you will do time. The El Rukns, on the other hand, the revolving door, wherever the Democrats are in charge of the so-called justice system, which is occupied, manipulated, and controlled by Democrat mafia members.
His friends say 30-year-old Takari Wright came from a big family. They say he and his sister were shot overnight on the 6500 block of South Hermitage.
We grew up together.
Antoine Cabil says he found out Wright, his lifelong friend, died just this morning.
If you know him, you'll love him. Like, he wasn't never no person that want to come out star and stuff or bullying people.
Police say a 31-year-old man, a 30-year-old man, now identified as Wright, and a 26-year-old woman who friends say was Wright's sister were outside the Hermitage Avenue home when an SUV drove up to them and someone inside fired shots.
Victim number 2, we had a few.
This is sickening, right? 16 people shot, 7 mortadel, and that is on the time that they count. So if it happens on Thursday at 11:59, it doesn't really quite make those numbers. If it happens at Sunday night or becoming Monday morning at 12:01, doesn't count the numbers. So in a small period of time, you had 16 people shot, 7 dead, and guess what? For that once great city, now an example of why you should never vote for a Democrat. That's improvement. That's how you know you live in a fracking ghetto, when improvement is when 16 people get shot and only 7 die. That's how standards can devolve into accepting absolute scandal, fraud, murder, and mayhem.
Now, the latest out of Indiana, where the Family and Social Services Administration is now demanding the return of some $200 million in improper payments they say are linked to fraud. FSSA wants.
So it was very interesting driving up. I drove up, and I tell you, I love to experience the drive up. I jump off the interstate. I take some of the main thoroughfares, and you see, I'll tell you what, you haven't seen poverty until you jump from that Florida, Alabama, Florida, Georgia. There's some impoverished areas, and you look at these lots of land, and they have these mobile homes, which is all that really you see there. And they look dilapidated, and the people have a tow truck or they're working on a car. And 201 of them, you know what I saw? Trump 2024, Trump 2020. It's amazing how the poorest people in the country are supporting the president who you're taught to believe steals from him. Everybody's stealing. The most corrupt president ever. It's fascinating to look how the people who may not have a tremendous amount of money, but what they have is a tremendous amount of pride in their country, how they would take truth over welfare, how they would take truth over scams. And then you start jumping around these states. And I like Indiana. I really do. I like the people who run it. I like some of the areas, but you can always spot the Democrat area. There is one county that has 530 windmills. A windmill is $4 million a piece. There is no way to generate enough energy to break even before the windmill can no longer function. And it's fascinating to look at this one county where people are poor and think $2.2 billion sits there in just acquisition costs. not including the $8,000 every quarter that the people are paid, the farmers are paid to pretend those windmills are actually functioning. They are not. And that area would have much rather had the $2.2 billion to go into some sort of infrastructure that the people could use rather than scams that the few can steal.
And the other thing I say to Europe, we will not allow a windmill to be built in the United States. They're killing us. They're killing the beauty of our scenery, our valleys, our beautiful plains. And I'm not talking about airplanes. I'm talking about beautiful plains, beautiful areas in the United States. And you
know what I love about New Yorkers? They sometimes over-define words, and then they under-define concepts. So he knew that he's talking to Democrats. He better talk about the actual, the plains of the country versus the plains in the air. But what he's really revealing is there will be no more fraud and scams that Barack Obama made a fracking fortune on. And when you talk about this wind and this solar, this is a multi-trillion-dollar boondoggle that keeps these areas poor, keeps people poor, and evaporates the most precious commodity to a family that works, the family of their dollar what it buys. All of this is why Democrats would rather pretend they're victims rather than perpetrators.
Personal power ministries to reward cronies and to try to jail his opponents. His personal attorney now runs the Department of Justice, which has repeatedly gone after his political enemies. Ask Jerome Powell. Sent them after James Comey.
Jerome Powell, a very interesting character. He's a government creature. Never did anything of any consequence in the private sector, only in the government sector. And only Jerome Powell could do a rehab for $2 billion. And an investigation into that moron is called abuse, lawfare, versus what? The fake rape allegations of which you had to move the statute of limitations and hire some schizophrenic with a cat named Nipples to pretend that she was raped by Donald Trump versus watching SVU, Law and Order, Season 13, Episode 11, where she copied the script. It's simple to pick these frauds out.
James Adam Schiff, he sent them after Tim Walz, and a woman that a jury found Donald Trump had sexually abused.
The jury, was it made up of people who were dumb enough to vote for Democrats? Because then it's not a legitimate jury. Then it's just a excuse to perpetrate true lawfare.
You don't feel like a victim?
I was not thrown on the ground and ravished, which the word rape carries so many sexual connotations. This was not sexual. It hurt.
But I think most people think of rape as it is a violent assault. It is not.
I think most people think of rape as being sexy.
Let's take a short break.
Think of the fantasies.
We're just going to take a quick break. If you can stick around, we'll talk more on the other side.
You're fascinating to talk to.
And you're a lying schizophrenic. Poor Gloria Vanderbilt's kid, the disgrace of the Vanderbilt family, Cooper, he was embarrassed. Let's get off air. It's fascinating to watch how lawfare was used and you got used to it. That's the problem. We get used to the abuse rather than demanding success.
California currently has the highest gas prices in the country, driven largely by environmental regulations and the nation's highest gas tax.
That's policy, including, killing refineries, killing transmission lines, killing gas pipelines.
On the helicopter ride to the platform, we see miles of deep blue ocean. But back in 2015, this same waterway was coated black after that pipeline, operated by a different company at the time, ruptured, spilling an estimated 120,000 gallons of crude oil. All oil production stopped here for more than a decade.
This is going to be a fight.
Alex Katz is executive director of the Environmental Defense Center, which is suing to stop Sable.
Why do you oppose Sable?
The problem with the pipeline is that it doesn't have an effective way of preventing corrosion.
Now, it's funny when you talk about the pipeline, because you're supposed to be outraged that the pipeline broke. Nobody was outraged when Joe Biden blew the pipeline to start the Ukrainian-Russian war.
If Russia invades, that means tanks or troops crossing the border of Ukraine again. Then there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it.
How will you do that exactly? since the project and control of the project is within Germany's control?
We will, I promise you, we'll be able to do it.
He blew the pipeline, creating the largest ecological disaster, man-made or by nature, that has ever been done, and not one eco-Nazi Democrat said a fracking word. And the reason is, they knew he had soiled his trousers earlier that day.
Happy birthday to you.